Hey guys, it's Bridget with San Diego Seed Company, and today I'm going to be talking about June gardening, specifically what to plant in June in zone 9 and 10. Now please don't be saying, oh no, I'm late. Don't have garden FOMO, because in zone 9 and 10 our season is so long. In fact, you can grow 365 days a year. But there are some things that do better than others in certain times of the year. So we're gonna actually go through completely our list of June stuff, and I've got the calendar out so I can show you if I've missed something. It's definitely listed here. All right, so when we're talking about June in zone 9 and 10, you can actually see that this is the same board that I've had for April and May, and I've just gone through and erased and replaced a few things that are kind of fading out. But the reason why I want to point that out is April, May, and June are really a continuation of our spring season. And for those of you who are in the coast in zone 9 and 10, you're actually going to see that like really long spring season even continue. In fact, right now it's pretty gray. It's May gray. It's a little drizzly. And on the coast, those conditions are going to continue even longer. The further east that you get in zone 9 and 10, the warmer the temperatures will be, and the less of that kind of coastal influence you will have. Now, when I'm talking about these coastal conditions, I'm really talking about Southern California. A lot of our followers are from Southern California, so I gotta shout out some of our conditions here. But in other parts of the United States, that may not be the same conditions. Now, so for June, we have warmer average temperatures across all of the zones because we're getting warmer, we're heading into summer. And the biggest takeaway I want you to see is you're gonna continue succession planting. So if you're one of those gardeners that's like been on it and you had all of your stuff started in March and you planted more in April and then even more in May, well, June is a continuation of succession planting. It's continuing to have plants ready so that as other plants in your garden putter out, you pull them out and you've got something ready to put in. A prime example here is these fava beans. They are about done. I already have plants ready for when I pull these out, so this space isn't going to be wasted. And spoiler alert, it's a flower. So things that you can easily direct sow right now: beans, corn, cucumber, melon, squash, and pumpkins. All very easy to direct sow because the soil temperatures are warm, the ambient temperature is warm. We're moving into warmer temperatures just in general.
What was that last one again?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins, okay.
Just in case, you didn't understand my English, it's pumpkins. Anyways, so then you can also transplant or seed start tomatoes, eggplants, and tomatillos. I don't have those listed on there, but tomatillos part of the tomatoes as well. Now, we are heading towards the end-ish of the season to seed start your tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers, only because think about it this way. If you start today, which is, let's say June 1st, you start your tomatillo seeds, well, it's gonna take 5 to 6 weeks to get that seed up to transplant. So now we're talking about July, give or take a couple weeks. You're gonna be planting in the hottest part of the year in zone 9 and 10, which means you can do it, but it comes with some troubles, and you definitely need some shade cloth if you're gonna do it that way. Lastly, let's talk about flowers. So there's a laundry list, a very long list of what flowers you can plant during this time of the year. And if you actually flip to our calendar on the back side, we have a whole list of flowers, which we update this every single year. I'm actually working now on next year's calendar, and we're gonna have to make it a couple extra pages because we can't fit it all in here. We're gonna have to actually add several pages to the calendar to accommodate all the new flower varieties that we've brought on. But if you go to June and you look through, you can see all the green slots are what we call the main season, and that's the time in which these crops will really thrive. Now, there are microclimates to everything, especially in zone 9 and 10 Southern California area. So just because something says that it's towards the tail end of the season doesn't mean you can't grow it with a little bit of extra care. I always recommend to people, break the rules. I've been doing it for like 35 years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But regardless, June is the prime gardening season for most people across the United States. It is beautiful, the weather is going to be nice, unless you live in Texas, but that's okay. I love you, Texas, but you've had some hard weather lately. The weather's going to be nice, you're going to have warmer temperatures, and most of your vegetable crops are going to thrive during this time of the year. All right, so here we are in the greenhouse, and you can see I'm gonna give you a little tour of what I've got going on so you can see I have more tomatoes. So as I mentioned, it's not too late, there's plenty of time. If you're in zone 9 and 10, don't get the garden FOMO. I know Instagram can really do that to you, but you have plenty of time to start it from seed or transplant it out. These particular tomatoes are going to the farm. They are actually our last tomato planting. We've been planting tomatoes since like April, late March, early April, and this is the last planting we're gonna do. The farm will be full, we will be done transplanting. And we do that in part because we don't want to be planting during the hottest part of the year out there. It's just harder for the plants to adjust. It's also not fun for us to be out there when it's like 110 degrees. So these will go out to the farm, these will get transplanted. I've also got some flowers. So as I mentioned, I'm always continuing to start seeds so that I have plants to go in when I pull something out. When those fava beans come out, I'm gonna transplant my very overseeded hyssop. So this is a really beautiful pollinator plant. Actually smells really good too. It smells like licorice. So this will go in. I've got some basils that I've been planting more of so that I have a long window of basil harvesting. I like to have basil all through the summer and well into the fall. And by always having some available, I can continue to make pesto instead of having to make 17 jars of it at once. I can make a little bit at a time. Then I've got some other fun little plants that I've been playing with. Actually, interestingly enough, this greenhouse, after I get all of these plants out in the next 4 weeks, will really become abandoned. This greenhouse is going to be much too hot, and it will change from being a propagation greenhouse to a drying greenhouse. It's where I will be drying all the seeds that I harvest on the farm, because it's going to be an average temperature of probably almost 100 in here with fans on. So it will become a drying house. It will no longer be a propagation house for the time being until next season. Okay, for those of you who have stuck around, I want to give you a chance to screenshot this image so that you have the board so you can reference it for your planting in zone 9 and 10. And for those of you who are interested in having a more comprehensive overlook, we do not have any more calendars. I'm sorry. They do sell out very quickly, but we are already working on next year's calendar, and I highly recommend that you sign up to be notified when they get in stock so that you can get your hands on one. Every single year we change the content, we add more crops, so it's not the same calendar that's being reprinted. In fact, it takes us about 6 months to put the calendar together, even though we have the framework because we're on calendar number 4 or 5, I can't remember. But it's a lot of work and there's a lot of really good information in there, so I recommend that you get signed up to be notified for next year's calendar so you get yours before it sells out.